Well, hello, my name is Lauren Williams, and today I want you to learn the truth about financial advisors so you have the information you need before you hire one. So we're going to get right into it because I don't think anybody here wants to waste any time. You're like, who do I need? How do I need to get to this? What do I need to know? So let's get to it. Well, let's kind of almost get to it. First, I need to tell you who's talking to you. So let me tell you a little bit about me, why I'm here, and why I think this is an important topic to cover. I am a four-time Olympian turned certified financial planner, and I love helping people organize their finances. My goal in life and in my day-to-day business practice is to help people reach their goals and really use money as a tool to live the life that they want. So my story in a nutshell is I was 20 years old, a junior in college, and at the University of Miami. So go Canes in case we got anybody out there. I was on a track scholarship and was busting my butt to repay my coach for the opportunity to get a free education. Well, all my hard work did pay off because at the NCAA National Championship, I won the 100 meters and I ran the second fastest time in the world that year. So it was 2004 when all this was happening, which just happened to be an Olympic year. And I quickly found myself in a situation where I was having to make a big decision about becoming a professional athlete. And so when I say professional athlete, a lot of people are like, oh, NFL, NBA, National Hockey League. Nope. There is professional sports for all those little sports as well. And I was actually going to be running track and field for a living. I was going to be leaving college to, make this my full-time job. Now, I come from a family of five sisters, two brothers. We did not have a lot of money. My family did not have anyone in it who had a bunch of financial literacy. It was just hard. My mom was a teacher. My dad was effectively disabled for most of my childhood because he got leukemia. And I got to a point where I realized that while I was in the midst of earning a finance degree, which was great, it didn't actually give me any real experience into making decisions with such large sums of money. So it was more money than I had ever seen, more money than anyone in my family had ever seen. I want to keep it in perspective because I think sometimes you automatically think professional athlete must be a millionaire. No, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was roughly $200,000, which is great income for a 20-year-old. But at the same time, it's not enough to retire if you have a 3 or 4 year career. And those are the things that we kind of learned the hard way. There was 20% being taken out from my agent, and then I was paying taxes. And the money doesn't go quite as far as you think it does. And I at least had some sort of inclination to that, even though I didn't really understand it clearly. And so I didn't want to make poor decisions, and I hired a financial advisor. Now, the thing was, I didn't know that there were all different types of financial professionals, which is why we are having this webinar today, is that I want you to know what exists out there. I want you to know what questions to ask so that you don't end up in a situation where you're with a wrong fit. So the guy that I chose was very focused on investing. At 20, there was a lot more that I needed help with. Investing was kind of at the bottom of the totem pole. Yes, I had great income. I was going to have a great opportunity to invest, but I didn't have a budget. I didn't know if I could move out from living with my college roommate. I was riding around in a jalopy college kid car and I wanted to get a new one, but my dad was like, never buy a new car, always buy a used car. So I was just looking for questions on, answers to things like that. His expertise was not in helping me with things like that, not in helping me set goals or really create a plan. It was just investing, which, like I said, in and of itself, investing is not a bad thing. I'm very grateful that I did get started investing early, but it doesn't negate all the other mistakes that I made because I didn't have someone that was helping me make a plan. So long story short is it didn't work out with the first advisor. I hired a second one. I had difficulties with him as well. And I started to look for information for myself. That's how I stumbled upon the Certified Financial Planning certification. And I just enrolled kind of blindly thinking like, okay, I got to get information for me because I need to do better with my money. Now, at this point, I had a finance degree. I also had earned a master's in business administration. And I understood things about money, but it wasn't really personal finance. Well, the certified financial planners, that education is around personal finance. So I was like, okay, this may be the best option. is getting education for myself when it comes to managing my money instead of hiring someone else. So went through the process, got that all done. And I realized that the people that I had been working with, failed me. And it wasn't because they were negligent or mean or bad, but they didn't know how to handle me, and they took me on as clients anyway, which is the worst thing that a financial professional can do, is hire you just for the dollars and cents that it's going to make them, versus because you're actually a good fit and you're a good person you're a good person for them to work with. As a result, all the mistakes I made over the course of my career, I had quite a bit of negative money emotion. And that was probably one of the biggest hurdles and barriers that I had to get over, was to work through all of those things on my own and continue to work through those things. I even still today, 4 years into running my own financial planning firm, I am not perfect, but I really had to tackle those things and realize, okay, what do I want for myself? And how do I want to push through all of this? And one of the ways I did was by starting my business so that I could help others end up in a situation much better than the one that I ended up in by working with the advisors I had. So that is why I am here today. That is why, at the very least, I want you to leave here knowing more than I did about how to best work with a financial professional. So let's get to it. Our objectives. We're going to start by assessing your need for a financial planner, because not everybody needs one. While I love to think that the world would be better if everybody had a financial planner, financial planners have to make a living, and not everybody is able to pay that person according to what the financial planner's expertise is. And so you may not be in a place where you're ready to hire someone, but that does not mean that you don't need some help financially. The other thing we want to do, we want to start understanding the various types of professionals that might be right. So there's lots of different kinds of people out there. I mentioned that already. But let's talk about who those kinds of people are and how you can best work within that. And then last but not least, I want you to understand the benefits of hiring a financial planner. So we got to do an assessment. We got to know which kind of people we want to work with after we've assessed ourselves. And then we got to understand, why this is an awesome thing for us to do specifically. So, all right, let's start with this assessment. How do we assess our need for a financial planner? So let's think about some of the emotions you may be considering or maybe feeling right now. Are you one of those people that is spending too much and you're constantly beating yourself up because you're spending too much, but you can't figure out how to spend less? Maybe you need some accountability. It's like, I can't find a way to save, and I know I'm spending too much, but I don't know what to do. Or maybe you're a person that just doesn't have time. We know that time is valuable. We also know time is priceless. You may want to spend your time doing something else. And so it might be worth it to you to hire someone so that you can strategize to take your money to the next level, but not with the investment of time of reading countless blogs online and, encyclopedias and doing this and doing that forever and ever. If it's going to be something that's going to just drive you crazy to invest the time in, you might want to pay someone else to do it. Now that brings me to my next point is, where is this on your list of priorities? It may be high priority, but you may still have that barrier of time, or it may not be a priority for you at all. So when you think about it, is there stuff that you'd rather be doing instead of this, but this is important? Then that's kind of high priority, but also something that you might want to invest in someone else helping you with because you don't have the time to do it, or you have other things that are on your list of priority. Or maybe it's one of those things that you're like, I'll get to it later. Eventually I'll get around to it. And, eventually is 3 or 4 years later. Typically that happens for us in the new year, where people are going, I want to change my finances. Last year I said I was going to save this much and I didn't get to save this much. And now you're on to the next thing. What about if you're a person that needs support? So a lot of people hire personal trainers nowadays. They're in workout groups. We can all go outside and do push-ups and run around the block, and it's free. It's simple. You can do it at any time that's convenient for you. But sometimes we're not getting the results we want because we actually need someone to come alongside us and support us, tell us we can do it, hold us accountable to making sure it gets done. Maybe you're not sure about the process or what you need to do. And what does that lead us to? Being overwhelmed. Yes, all the things, juggling all the things. So maybe you don't know where to start. You're feeling overwhelmed. I have loads of people that say, you know, I got student loan debt, Lauren, and I've got daycare and I've got mortgage. You know, my money is gone before I even get paid. So how in the world do I know where to start? I do want to do better, but I just can't figure all of this out. Another thing to think of as we're kind of starting this assessment process and we're doing some reflection. Are you one of those people that has the 50 million accounts? So 50 million might be a slight exaggeration, but you know what I mean. You've got an account where you're stuffing it here, you're stuffing it over there. You don't have a real clear purpose about what you're doing with the various accounts. So there's savings accounts, there's IRAs, maybe you opened a Roth IRA because a friend has one, 401k, then you've got, you know, little petty cash that you keep on hand, high yield savings account, everybody's talking about it. 50 million accounts, but no real clarity on what the purpose is of those 50 million accounts. That could be a thing. That could be something that you want to consider and something that you might need help with. Now, this is a biggie. You're married, but your money is not. So you might be doing finances, but you're not, you know, your marriage is in harmony, but you're not doing your finances in harmony. So you're not ready to have a conversation about the ways to work together on your finances. You don't know how to start that conversation. You know, maybe you are in a situation where you have a bunch of debt and you didn't tell your spouse about that, or it's a significant other and you're afraid to get married because you don't want to tell them how much debt you have. These are the kind of things that is very normal. You are not alone. Young professionals are struggling with this all the time. But we don't want you to end up in a situation where you get married and you don't know how much debt your spouse has, or you are the one that is hiding debt or other things from your spouse. So much so now the narrative is in society, keep your things separate, watch your back, you know. You love this person and you get married to them, but at the same time, you're just like, I would just keep my stuff over here. You just keep yours over there because I'm not too sure about you. Instead of figuring out, okay, how can I encourage this person to do better with their finances because I seem to be doing the better, or, you know, how can we work together because I don't want to bring this person down. The biggest area that I see this kind of play itself out to is married filing separately, which is a very disadvantageous way to file your taxes. And you should only be doing that if there's a real strategy behind it, not just because of trust issues with your spouse. This is where a financial professional can step in, be the objective person, and help you guys work together. All right, so if we're thinking about this, as we pertains to as assessing ourselves, we just talked through some things that you might be feeling, thinking, having trouble with, etc. But there's some other aspects of this. Even if you checked every box on that list and you're like, yes, Lauren, yes, these are all the problems I got. There may be some other things you got to consider before you run off and get a financial professional. So the first one is income. And so I'm kind of going to do this in levels, you know, just kind of think as I go through the various things, which level do I fit into? And whether, you know, what might I need because of the level that I'm in, because this is not one size fits all. So you might be level 1 for one thing that I talk about and then level 3 for something else. But it should give you a better idea by the time we get to the end of what kind of person you might need to work with. So as it pertains to income, you know, what do you have coming in? That's the first question I want you to be able to answer. If you don't know the answer to this question, it's okay. But this is something you're going to want to get to the bottom of. So sometimes you're an employee of a place and you just never look at your paycheck. Like you said, you know, some money comes in the bank, you know, the bills get paid. And then there's other situations where you're an entrepreneur or money just doesn't come pretty steadily, independent contractor. And it's just, I don't know how much money I have. I don't know how much money I made last year. It's just one month to the next, I can make ends meet. So, all right, when we think about income, you know, there's the level 1, less than 50K. Level 2, I would say that 50 to 100K range. And then level 3 would be like that over 100K earner. So 6 figures and up, It's still kind of, like I said, there's inflation now. I'd actually say it's probably closer to less than 60,000, 60 to 120,000, and then over 120,000 as kind of the levels. Which set of boxes do you fit in? Low, mid, or high earners. Where am I in this process? All right. Once we've assessed our income, we also need to assess our debt. So how much do you owe? So when you're thinking about what level you fit in here, level 1, that's people that have, really high credit card debt. So maybe 50K, double-digit credit card debt. And you're having a hard time just figuring out what to do from one month to the next. Those monthly payments are just wearing you out. You maybe are even trying to use the credit cards and pay them down at the same time. You may be in a situation where your income is less than what your debt is. So you got 50,000 in credit card debt and you make $30,000 a year. You're in a really tough situation and you just feel like you're drowning in debt. Level 2 people. Now you might have a little credit card debt. You're working on it. You plan to have it paid off in 6 or 8 months, something like that. Maybe you got a care credit card, a medical bill that caught you off guard. And then, maybe you're in a situation, you got a car payment, student loan payments, some things that are pretty standard. That would be kind of level 2 is like, I've got multiple different kinds of debt and I'd like to work on getting some of these things down, but I can afford them on a monthly basis, but I'm not really doing any extra. And then level 3. So put yourself in level 3. If you're the person that has no credit card debt, maybe you've already paid off your car. If you do have a car, you're getting close to paying it down, you're paying a little extra. And then you got that mortgage and those student loans. Those are kind of 2 things that are bigger. And, maybe you even already paid off your student loan debt. You just have a mortgage. You're in a pretty good situation, though, where from one month to the next, you can pay the amount you owe on your various debts. And you may even have some extra left over to be able to reach your financial goals. All right. So we talked income, we talked debt. Now let's talk savings. What have you been setting aside? So how are you able to save? If you're in that level 1 group, you're going to be the person that's saying, none, Lauren, I don't have any savings. I might be using credit cards to just help me get by from one day to the next. And then that level 2 is like, well, I've got some savings, but I frequently hit a bump in the road. And it kind of makes me have to drain my savings account. So you're constantly like dipping into the piggy bank. It's like, I put some money in, I got to take some money out. Put some money in, oh man, I need $100. So you're setting aside a little bit, but by the time the end of the month comes by or every couple months, you're dipping right back in because life is happening. And don't feel bad. Life is happening to all of us. We just got to figure out like, what can we do different to kind of improve our situation. And then that level 3, if you fall into level 3, you've got stacks on stacks on stacks. So you're saving, but you're like, am I saving enough? Am I saving in the right places? What am I saving for? I'm just doing it because everybody says you should. And money's accumulating, it's coming out of my ears, but I don't know what to do next. So which level do you fall into as it pertains to savings? All right. Next, we've got money management. What is your money management style? Are you level 1, level 2, or level 3? So level 1 is management. What money management? I watch the money come in and I watch it go right back out. If you can relate to that, then you might be in the level 1 group. Level 2 is I've got money on my mind and my mind is on my bills and my budget is in my bills and the budget is in my mind. And hold on, like you got a plan. You're not paycheck to paycheck, but you're kind of just keeping in track of it in your brain. And so it's kind of like, oh, I want to go on this vacation. I'm gonna start saving $300 a month, but you never really did any real math on how much it was going to cost to get on that vacation or what you're going to give up. You just kind of like make it work. So you focus on the bills first. You might have a little bit left after. Maybe you put some of that towards savings, but it's not like a clear, real, understandable plan. Level 3, you've got financial goals. They're set. You maintain them, but you have thoughts about the best ways to execute them. So I got a plan kind of here. I wrote it down and this is what I think I want to do. And I thought it through and I did some Googling and, it helped me get here. And I feel pretty good about this, but I'm not sure what else I could be doing to better optimize my finances. So those are kind of levels. If you had mostly level ones, then we want to talk about maybe looking at some nonprofit organizations. Level twos, we can talk either financial coach or financial planner. And level threes, you're most likely going to need a financial planner. So that's kind of the spoiler alert. But what we have to do first is determine the type of financial professional that you need. So, like I said, there's tons of different things out there. There's tons of different names. I wish there was an easy way to paint this picture, but unfortunately, there are various titles and just as many services when you're looking for financial help. The terms used in this world are very muddled, and you could wake up in the morning and call yourself a financial advisor, a financial coach, financial planner, financial consultant, or a wealth manager. You could do that right now. You can just say tomorrow that you are any one of these things. Now, what you won't be able to do is wake up and call yourself a certified financial planner. That's similar to, saying you're a doctor or, well, doctor is probably the easiest thing to say. You can't call yourself a physician unless you're a practicing MD, which is something I had to learn over time. But you're going to want to know what all these different terms are when someone says that this is what they do, and kind of try to break down, well, what kind of licenses do you have? What do I need to do? What do I need to be thinking about? All right, so I want to focus on three kinds of kind of financial professionals. Like I said, there's lots of names, but let's just focus on three. So the financial advisor, this is the term that you're going to hear most often. And while the term can mean anything, like I just mentioned, it is used for the largest group of financial professionals in the industry. This group is made up of salespeople who work for a company. They sell you a product, an investment product usually, and they earn a commission when you purchase that product. So you go and they open a Roth IRA for you or a brokerage account, something like that. They're managing it, and you call that person twice a year and you put more money into it on a regular basis. They're probably not giving you, much other financial advice. You're just putting your money, your investments away, and they're earning a commission for whatever they choose to invest you in, and you putting money into those various accounts, and then they're choosing things that their company, maybe pays more commissions for. So like I said, it's not a blanket term. Like, while I'm a certified financial planner, I could also call myself financial advisor and nothing would happen. Like I could be that, or I could be something else. I actually do not charge in the way I just described to you, but that's generally when you meet someone at a networking event and they say I'm a financial advisor, they're generally going to be the person I just described. Because if I'm at a networking event and I'm, me, who's a certified financial planner, I'm not going to introduce myself as a financial advisor. I'm going to say I'm a certified financial planner because I have the rights and the license to be able to say that. The regular financial advisor who sells investment products does not. All right, so that's thing number one. Number two, there is the financial coach. So coaches typically focus on the fundamentals of financial planning. So this is things going to be like budgeting, debt management, building your credit, beginning to save. So like I said, that level ones, level twos, this might be the area for you. Now, coaches specifically are not going to be licensed to provide you with investment advice. So they're not going to have a Series 65, Series 63, 67. There's lots of different things. They're not going to be a certified financial planner. They don't have the licenses to give you this investment advice so that you can create, they're going to help you create that strong foundation. And then you're going to do the work of implementing it. So they're coming alongside of you as an accountability partner. Once again, though, I have to remind you that there is no rules on saying the words financial coach. So the problem we run into quite a bit nowadays is, Instagram personalities, influencers, or Facebook groups and things like that, where people are running coaching businesses, but they actually don't have any certifications. They just really love finances and looking things up, and they weren't taught any specific education. So they may be giving you misinformation, and that is a really, really big risk to take. Now, there is one kind of person that kind of fits into this coaching criteria. There we go. And they are called accredited financial counselors. And I know I probably only further confused you because the word here says financial coach. That's what we're talking about. And now Lauren, you're going AFC, accredited financial counselor. Well, accredited financial counselor is going to be the one that has a certification. They're going to be held to a standard, but their knowledge and their expertise is very similar to what, the financial coach does. So if you're looking for a coach, I would make sure that my coach is at least an accredited financial counselor. And then last but not least, we have the certified financial planner. There we go. So with the certified financial planner, like I said, you cannot call yourself one unless you are one. So that's very important. And this is the highest standard in the financial industry. There's an education requirement. If you are a certified financial planner, you take a comprehensive exam. There's a minimum amount of experience. So it's either 2 years in one scenario or 3 years in another scenario, depending on what kind of experience you're getting. But you would have at least worked with or under someone for 2 years or 3 years before you can even call yourself a certified financial planner, even if you pass the test already. And then there's a code of ethics that you're going to be bound to. So my recommendation, I'm not going to hide it all, is to only work with someone that is a certified financial professional or an accredited financial counselor. But no matter who you choose, make sure that you do your due diligence. So let's talk about that. How do we do our due diligence as it pertains to hiring a financial planner or financial professional? First thing you want to ask them is, how do you get paid? That's a really, really, really important part of hiring someone. Understanding the cost associated with their service. So you see here we got commission, and we mentioned what commission is. That's pretty much what the financial advisor, so big companies that you see on the television, lots of advertisements for, those individuals are generally going to get paid a commission. They're going to sell you financial products. And the hard thing is that it's sometimes unclear what you're being charged. So a lot of people who have financial advisors say, oh, I don't pay them. And it's like, well, how do they eat and make a living if you're not paying them? They have to be making their money some way, somehow. They're not just doing it out of the benevolence of their heart. And so when you are unclear about how they're charging you, that is a kind of red flag, a sign, because you want someone who's going to tell you, this is my fee, this is why this is my fee, and let's make sure that this works well for you. Then the second thing we have is fee-based. So fee-based is going to be a combination of the top, the first bullet point, commission, and then the bottom, which is a fee. So you're going to see that they charge a fee, and they're going to give you some financial advice, and they're going to charge you separately for the advice. So like the advice might be, you need to open a Roth IRA, and this is the reason you need to open a Roth IRA. And because I'm, spending my hours researching what's the best kind of plan for you, you need to pay me for that advice. But then once you get the Roth, you can go open a Roth IRA on your own and do it, without a commission, or you can work with me, let me manage it for you, and I'm going to charge you for the fees for managing that. So they're going to get both a commission and a fee, and the fee they should disclose to you at least. Then last but not least, actually definitely not least, the preferable way for someone to be being compensated in the financial industry is fee only. So you want someone to tell you that they are a fee only fiduciary certified financial planner. That is your best case scenario. Now this person that is fee only is going to charge you a clear fee based on a retainer or hourly rate, or it could be a percent of your investable assets. So let's talk about percent of investable assets. Let's say you got $1 million. They may charge you 1% of your $1 million that you have that can be invested. You got $1 million in stocks and bonds and things like that. So in that case, they would earn $10,000 per year for managing your $1 million. Now, if your million grows, which it should, then next year it's, let's just say they did awesome and you got 1.5, well, your fee is now $15,000. So it's 1% of whatever that amount is, or maybe you're putting more money in because you're earning more. Whatever the case may be, that investable amount, they're going to charge a percentage of. So you're going to look for someone who is charging at least no more than 1%. You want to look at 1% and people who go down from 1%. Now more than ever, you can find people that are charging 1% or less. Beware, there are people that are charging 3%. 2%, etc. So just be mindful. And then the hourly rate. So like I said, financial planners in general, somewhere between 100 and 500 bucks an hour. The higher the rate, the more qualified that person's going to be. And then they're not, the other thing to consider is that they're not working, let's say they call it the 250 bucks an hour. You're like, wow, that person makes $500,000 per year. Comes out to about that if you do the math. But, they're not working 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week to collect this hourly rate. The hourly rate is much higher because they're not collecting as many hours. So they're not going to be able to earn as much. And they also have gone to get, like I said, education and expertise and continuing education and conferences and things like that. So don't be afraid or scared away by those large hourly rates. It could be a really efficient way to get the help that you need. And then the last one is based on retainer. So retainer being quarterly or monthly. And the idea is that you're working with this person for life. And so you're paying them on a regular basis. And then you're checking in with them 2 or 3 times a year. And so the general benefit to that is you pay a little bit, every quarter or every month. That way it's not one big fee every time you need some help. And they're learning you, they're learning your situation. You add a kid, you add a cat, you add a dog. I've got a Great Dane. Whatever the case may be, this person is learning about you, your life, and you have an ongoing relationship. So those are the 3 different ways. So how do you get paid is a good question to ask. Next thing we want to ask. We don't need, that's really the biggest question that we want to ask people. The other thing is the type of financial planner that's going to be best for you. So if we circle back to that level 1, level 2, level 3 sort of thing, if most of your answers were level 1-ish, then you might be in that free advice category. And so with the free advice, there's a lot of different options. Option number 1, nfcc.org, and I'll send this information on over to you. Moneymanagement.org is another one. You Need a Budget is a great app. Now it's not free, so I don't want to misrepresent anything. It's $84 for the year, but it's a do-it-yourself option. And honestly, this was a game changer for my finances. So you're definitely going to want to look into that because you're not in a position to hire someone, but you might be in a position to spend a little bit on yourself in order to get yourself going. You need to take some responsibility to kind of get yourself out of that level 1 phase and get on to the level 2 phase. Dave Ramsey is a good place to start if you're in that level 1. And then there's another one called Take Charge America, and then credit.org. So those are things that if you related most to the things that I said when we were talking level 1, 2, or 3, you might want to look into some free advice. And if you're in that free advice category, the other thing that, just be honest, you might need additional income. And we're really lucky to live in a world where you can pick up a side hustle relatively easily. So companies like DoorDash and Favor and Postmates and Uber and Lyft, TaskRabbit, there's dog walking apps like Wag and Rover and Dog Vacay. You name it, the list goes on. But don't be afraid to say, I got to get some more income so that I can get these bills taken care of, so that I can get myself on the right track. Maybe set a short time period, like 6 months, and say, I'm just going to do a sprint and work my butt off to get myself some wiggle room, some breathing space. And then, maybe you're in level 2, and like you said, a lot of the things I said to you are like, okay, I do need some help. I probably need to, get some stuff organized. Not quite sure what I need to do different, then maybe you need a financial coach. So financial coach is going to be, like I said, accredited financial counselor is where I'm going to say is the best option for you to look. So it's afc.org, accredited financial counselor. You can type into Google and get yourself some coaching, get your budget in line, get some, customized information about how to best maximize the things that you've got going on, what your financial goals are. And then maybe you'll be ready to, start doing some additional things that are going to be more about optimizing your finances and working with an investment professional. And then last but not least is the certified financial planner. So who is this a great fit for? Newly married couples, people with stock options. You don't want to be managing stock options on your own. Not a good idea. Like I said, people who generally earn upwards of $100,000 of income. Like I said, more like 120K is kind of the minimum for me to feel like you definitely need the help of a financial planner. Below that, it could be either or. Like I said, you might just need a one-time plan. That's another thing that certified financial planners do. So you need to understand how to invest, how to save, where to put money, etc. Certified financial planner, I'm not saying if you don't make 120, never call one. Just make sure that you understand how they are compensated and know that it's similar to a lawyer versus, going to legalzoom.com versus, writing your own contract on the back of a napkin sort of thing. Are you level 1, level 2, or are you level 3? And that level 3 is going to cost you a bit more. All right. So the benefits of hiring a financial planner. Benefits of hiring a financial planner, I would say you are going to be more organized because you did the work with someone. You're going to be less stressed about money because you now have a clear set of priorities. You're going to get the guidance and the education that you need. And that person is going to be with you, holding your hand every step of the way. You're going to get that accountability. So like I said, whether it's a nonprofit organization, financial coach, certified financial planner, hiring a financial professional can really, really be helpful to help you get where you want to go. You're also going to have that accountability. And you'll have a clear plan. Like you'll know, okay, this is why I'm doing this. And that is my biggest desire in life for people. I want you to go to brunch with your friends and be like, oh, I'm doing this because my planner and I talked about it, and this is what I'm trying to achieve. And, 16 months from now, I should be ready to do X, Y, Z, fill in the blank. That is a really, really cool place to be in life so that you can feel really organized and on point with your goals. All right. Oh, I just talked about all these things. Here I am getting ahead of myself. So one more time, accountability, more organized, less stress. You'll be more educated. You'll have an action plan. You'll have more stability, which means you'll sleep better. These are the benefits. All right, so let's talk about what we need to do to take action. So you're now equipped. You've got the information. Nobody knows what you need more than you do. So pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what do I need help with? Hopefully you've been taking notes as we've gone through this. And you know what it is that you want from working with a financial professional. You have to want this for yourself because as the financial planner, we are the vessel. Even me today doing this presentation, I am the vessel that is giving you the information. But this only works if you work at it, if you take action, if you reach out to a financial planner or an accredited financial coach, or you start with one of those nonprofit organizations. So what do you need to do? Do you need to get help for free? Like I said, I'll send you a list of organizations and apps that I think will help you get you going that I mentioned earlier. You might need that coaching. So from my perspective, I've created a course. And the same way I talked about level 1, level 2, and level 3, level 1 kind of people are usually interested in my course, which I call the bronze medal package. It's going to help you, like I said, take those step-by-step actions. You're going to still get access to a certified financial planner, which is me. And it's going to be much, much cheaper. It's almost like what I refer to as kind of my pro bono offering. I spent a lot, and I mean a lot of time creating that course, but I charge very little, $600 for the course. And it's 3 parts, very comprehensive to help you get going. Maybe, like I said, you're in the middle. And so my middle is either a one-time plan where I'm going to walk through all of your finances, give you the plan, and you can go off and implement it. On your own, you'll have better clarity of what your finances are, or a one-time meeting where you're just like, okay, Lauren, here's my situation. Here's what I'm thinking. Let me bounce these ideas off of you. I feel like I'm on track, but I'm not sure about this. So that's kind of like I'm middle of the road. Or like I said, top-notch gold package is we're doing life together. So 30 years from now, I'll still be your planner. You'll still be my client, ideally. And like I said, you know that your financial situation is so complicated that you need somebody looking at it on a regular basis. You need somebody to say, hey, it's time to exercise your stock options. Hey, here's how you open the 529 plan for your kids. Hey, we need to bump up the amount that you're putting in because this happened or that happened. all kinds of things. You know, you got to pay taxes because you're an entrepreneur. Don't forget about your quarterly taxes. You're a business owner. You got to set up a solo 401k. Tons and tons and tons of things to be thinking about. So if you feel like you need someone on your team, you know, that's the let's do this, let's get it together, then you might want that goal. But at the end of the day, you've got to decide what is right for you. And if you decide that I might be that person that's right for you, here's how you can find me. On Instagram, I'm at Worth Winning. Website is worth-winning.com. And you can find me at Lauren at worth-winning.com. I hope you enjoyed. Please don't hesitate to reach out with additional questions. And if you have more questions about what kind of financial professional is right for you, please go ahead and drop those in my inbox or DM me. Take care.